So yesterday the lab's mechanic here in St. Joseph, Missouri cleaned up the battery ground and the starter ground, and of course they didn't sound too happy about it, but they did it. And now so far I started the truck like 3 times and there was no hesitation. Like there really was a problem there for sure, because especially the starter ground there, it sits right next, you know, at the very bottom of the engine, so of course all the water and dirt, you know, goes in there, so it's real easy to get, for those parts to get corroded. And also now I asked him if there was an international dealer nearby, because he told me about that part on the right side of the engine, and that's what he was talking about. It's I said, what is it? Like, I'm at International here. I said, I need this part and I don't know what's it called. I said, is it a relay or what is it? He says, oh, it's another solenoid. So it turns out the starter has 2 solenoids. One, the bigger one, sits right on top of the starter, and this thing sits on, you know, it goes like this on the wall, and then you have a whole bunch of cables connected here, and it's right there on the firewall on the opposite side of my fuse box. So if this thing goes bad, that's it. He says, click, click, you won't be able to start it because there's another solenoid in here. And I asked the mechanic, I said, so how much do you think it'll cost? Because, you know, I was afraid it'll be like another $200-300 bucks. Oh, they even gave me some bolts in here. Yeah, there's some bolts in here. Oh, he said $30-40 bucks. Okay. But of course, it's not $30-40 bucks, it's 64 bucks. So he was wrong by 50%. But I'm not gonna put it on now, but I mean, at least I have the part. If I hear that click again, because that's it, that's the last thing. Grounds are cleaned, right? The batteries are new, well, 3 months old, and I cleaned up all the posts in there. The starter is new. Again, the ground is cleaned up in there. Of course, I don't know what they did, but you know, they were working on it, so I just trust them. And the alternator is new, so you know, it's either that or the ignition switch. But everybody says that it's highly unlikely for the ignition switch to fail. So I don't know. It's these 2 things will fail before the ignition switch. So okay, so I'm starting to drive now, leaving St. Joseph, and turns out Iowa has the same stupid rule on for today, just as Missouri. I have to get out of Iowa before noon today, otherwise I'll have to shut down till July 5th. And now it's 9 Eastern or 8 local, and it's about 220 miles, so I really have to start trucking, you know, to cross the river over there into South Dakota. So stay tuned. The part I need. And I don't see.
After 80 meters, turn left. County Highway 45.
Many Class A trucks. Most of the trucks, like brand new ones, they're just 5-ton trucks. Well, you see on the right, there's a name, Diamond International. City, I saw trucks parked. You know, that's a big sign. I like to see big trucks at the truck stop, you know, then you know that you can stop there. And I saw those trucks. And this is exit 2 of I-29. Basically just 2 miles. Just 2 miles north of the border. Population 2,530 people. Benefit of my bigger tires, because now they spin at 492 revs per mile, so my cruising speed now is 100 kilometers an hour, or 62, just over 62 miles per hour, and that really helps when you need to cover some serious distance. Sometimes I do 65 now, but then my RPM is like 1400. No, I don't like that. But 62, 100k an hour, that puts me at 1330 RPM, 1330, which is very close to what CAT recommends for best fuel economy. They actually say 1325, but you know, like my Gearmaster only shows 10s, you know, like 1320, 1340, doesn't show 5s. But that's a digital tachometer. It's much more accurate than my tachometer on the truck. Whew, that was a nice run. Time for a break. And now I need to order permits. I need to order permits for Saskatchewan and Alberta, where I normally order permits. They don't deal with Western Canada. Oh, and one more thing I learned today. I called payroll, you know, contractor services, and I said, you know, why is it that whenever I haul oversized loads, even though I submit all the permits and the price, the cost of the permit is clearly stated on each permit, why is it that usually 1 or 2 weeks after I see more deductions coming out of my paycheck for the same trip? Like first they take money off the top for the permits, and then 2 weeks later there's more money. Like I always see like minus, you know, $100, $150. And I asked them about this, and they said, oh, it's because Landstar charges you for ordering the permits. I said, really? How much? And they said, well, usually Landstar charges drivers about $25. Can you believe this? I order permits through ComData, which is actually part of Landstar, like the Landstar part of ComData. And Landstar charges me $25, and turns out that's not all the fees. Turns out I just forgot about this. I thought the price on the permit was everything I was paying. No, that's just the government fee. So if the permit costs $35, you know, ComData cannot give it to me for $35, right? Because I'm using their services. They charge something on top of that, and the payroll lady did not know how much they charge, but that's what it is. So turns out, you know, ComData is very expensive to use because of all these fees. I think, for example, now I'm paying about probably $300-400 in permits to the government, to the state and provincial governments for this load because it's wide and long. But on top of that, there'll probably be $100-150 just to Landstar. you know. I don't like that. It's time to I find a cheaper permit service, and I'll just use my credit card, you know, and buy permits over the phone, or just register an account and get them online. I can do it myself with less mistakes than
Well, time flies when you're having fun. I'm still in North Sioux City, South Dakota. Just 2 hours 15 minutes just spent here. Went inside. They have a nice restaurant, buffet, and then I had to order permits from Saskatchewan, Canada, and Alberta. And ComData does not deal with that, so I had to call them directly. Use my permit directory. And then I also scanned all my documents for the border and called Livingston, my customs broker, confirmed the email address, and just send everything to them, you know, from inside my truck using my Verizon Internet access, my laptop, my scanner. So I'm gonna end up in Fargo today, and then tomorrow I'll be crossing the border into Canada. So now it looks like I have all the permits. And Canada, what they do, Western Canada, they don't send you any actual paperwork. You know, they just give you a reference number, kind of like your permit number. So if Canadian cops, you know, if you see they're ready to start shooting, when you're passing the scale, you just have to throw the piece of paper with the reference number out of the right window. That's the regulation. Do not throw it in the left window over there. And if they see a piece of paper, they stop shooting. So, but on a serious note, yeah, they just need that number and they look it up on the computer. So go figure. No papers involved, kind of paperless technology. So I think that's way better than what US does, because you have to print all this stuff out. It takes, you know, data to send all this over the internet. You know, why bother? Just give a driver a reference number, and then if a DOT cop needs that, just look it up. But of course the problem here is that, you know, I'm supposed to know the rules of the permit, right? And where do I look them up? So I have to download all those rules from the Alberta or Saskatchewan website and read them. So that's one downside. So when you have a permit in your hand, like a printed out, you can read everything, all the requirements, right? So what you're supposed to do. So I'm not sure which way is better, but there's definitely less red tape when you order permits for Western Canada. So, all right, time to rock and roll. It's 3 o'clock Eastern, so 2:13 local time, and I got 500 kilometers to Fargo, which is roughly 300 miles.
Well, I just got stopped in Jefferson County. It's a scale. Just, I don't know, 10 minutes north of North Sioux City, where I had a big break. And I go on the scale, and of course, you know, my rear axle is like 36,700. And the sign says, park, bring papers. Alright, so I get all my belongings, like, you know, my registration, my bill of lading, my driver's license, my permit. Go inside, and I'm thinking, that's it. My goose is cooked. Now they're gonna do a full inspection, you know, put me in prison for the holiday, you know, confiscate my truck.
Turn right.
No, the guy says, I go in, the guy says, Landstar? I say, yeah. He says, can I see your permit? So I give him my permit. He compares the weight. And of course on my permit I have the weights, you know, 18,000 something 300 for the trailer axle 4 and 5. And so he just stamps my permit, and off I ride away into the sunset. You know, beautiful. This is the scale that I just went on, or rolled on, but yeah, I see the sign says return to the interstate.
parking. You see the sign on the right, the parking, that's where I went first time. I just parked over there. So, alright. Fargo, here I go. I guess one of those situations where you steal the driver untested. The speed limit is 65 miles per hour, right? I have to keep the truck real steady, because if I go to the left, I'm going to hit those red posts, and if I go to the right, see what happens. It has those, what do you call them, like waves in the pavement to alert people when they're going into the shoulder. So you really have to, focus and be very precise with steering. It would be much easier if this was a 5-ton truck, with no trailer, but because I have a fully loaded trailer, and my length now is 77 feet and 4 inches, I believe, with this 60-foot long tank that overhangs in the back by 58 inches. Well, that's why they pay us the big bucks. You know how I often go through New York and there's a town called Watertown? So, funny now, there's a town with the same name in South Dakota. That's where I'm right now. It's 2.5 hours south of Fargo, North Dakota. And I have a couple of interesting neighbors at this truck stop. This is a Tesoro truck stop. Big building of a truck stop. There's a restaurant, a whole bunch of goodies in there. Next to me is the guy with a Deere mine truck. Check out how many axles he has. 3 in the back on the trailer. Oh Jesus, this guy closed me. Yeah, there was one Jeep or Booster there, and then he had just a regular Volvo truck. Yeah, this guy just basically screwed up my filming. Then on this side we have an old Freightliner. I see a lot of these. Evidently this was a very successful truck, except that the radiator is just goes straight down. But look, the hood is kind of aerodynamic. Well, the windshield has a very steep angle, but check this out, it even has those covers on the side. But what I'm interested in is this Bullbar, or a moose bumper. One of the viewers suggested I get this, and I think this is the what's the name of that company? Herd? Anyway, I know they're located in Winnipeg, Manitoba, and judging from those tow hooks in the front, this is their product. And it's like one piece. It replaces the actual bumper, and look, it's pretty aerodynamic at the bottom there, right? It's like kind of goes back at an angle, and this protects. I don't care too much about moose because I don't drive at night, but I already have 2 collisions, and each time they were destroying my fenders. So if I had something like this, I'd have 0 downtime when someone hits me in the parking lot. And I like those sidebars, because that's what they do. They protect your fenders. So, and I know these guys, they sell. You can choose. They have like 3 various specs. The cheaper it is, the less the diameter of the pipe is. Like this is pretty massive. I think this is maybe 2.5 inches, and they also have 3-inch diameter pipe for like road trains. And of course the weight is higher when the pipe is bigger, but it also costs more, but it also can stop a bigger animal or a bigger truck. And they sell through the network of truck dealers. So next time I'm back, when I'm back home, I'm gonna ask
my international dealer. See how much they sell for. What is it? $2,000, $3,000, $1,000? I have no idea. But it looks like a quality made product, you know. It would be a good upgrade to my 2004 International. And I'm in Fargo, North Dakota. Did 557 miles today. But this time I didn't buy fuel here. I was looking at my statements before, and I noticed that these guys here only give you like 3 cents per gallon, which is ridiculous. So instead I filled up at Love's Travel Center, which is just maybe like 1 mile south of here on 29, and I was coming that way, right? I was going north on 29. So Love's is just next to Flying J, and I think we get like 8 cents per gallon discount with those guys. And plus I have the Love's card now, so I can collect points, you know, for free showers too. But it's a weird truck stop, so I fueled up there, and then I went to Petro for the night. So this is what, day 3, July 3rd.